my husband when was the last time he touched me.
Pastor, my wife is boring in bed.
What?
Pastor, it's the same old, same old. The same thing every time. The same bland food every time.
You can have a Ferrari and not get the best out of it because you don't know how to drive.
Alright guys, so how you guys doing today?
We're doing better.
And how are you? Better?
Yes, fine.
I hope you guys didn't go back yesterday and started fighting and quarreling.
No, that's not so.
Really? Okay, great. So where did we stop yesterday? I think Ngozi, you introduced a new dimension to our discussion. Yeah.
I was saying that the second point the marriage counselor listed was that if you really want to know a healthy marriage, it's how frequently they make love.
Okay.
So Pastor, I ask my husband when was the last time he touched me? When?
You answer since you're obviously the record keeper.
Angie, so when was the last time you guys made out?
Thank you for that question, Pastor. I have it on my phone.
On your phone?
Yes.
So you're recording it now?
I keep to record now. Yeah.
Okay.
Pastor, 6 months, 5 days.
That's a lie. Babe, that's a very big lie.
Hey, my husband, last time he touched me was 6 months, 5 days. So
Why are you lying like
look at
this?
it now. Look at it.
Baby, so you now
Pastor,
record it
Pastor,
now?
look it's very important. I should.
Hey.
Wow. Okay, was it last week?
No.
Was it 2 weeks ago?
No, sir.
All right. Was it 2 months ago?
No.
So what's the problem? How can you not touch this beautiful woman of yours for such a time? Are you sick?
No, not at all. I'm perfect.
Are you having stress at work? Are you stressed out?
Pastor, this is obviously exaggerated. I don't know a time or the last time because I've been very busy. Obviously, you know, I'm a very busy man. But it's not 6 months, babe.
Then it's when?
6 months is like half a year.
Then when?
And 5, maybe it's like January to June.
If you feel you remember, you think you know the last time we made that. When was it, please?
I don't know, but I'm certain.
Please, I don't understand why for 2 months, 3 months now, as she said, 6 months, you've not touched her. What's the problem?
Are you sure you want to do this?
Obviously, that's why we are here.
Are you really sure?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Let's do it. Pastor, since we both agreed to be honest with this session, I'm going to say it as it is. Pastor, my wife is boring in bed.
What? Me? Boring?
You want the truth, right?
You're the one that is boring.
You want the
You
truth.
are the
but
one
you
that is
obviously
boring.
can't handle it.
Guys.
You want the truth, right?
All right, guys. Please, Ngozi, please allow him to talk, okay? Emeka, so what do you mean by what you just said, that your wife is boring in bed?
Pastor, it's the same old same. The same thing every time. The same bland food every time. Pastor, you would agree with me that there are very many ways to serve rice, apart from the normal Sunday ritual of white rice and tomato sauce every time. There are very many ways. In fact, there are 1,000,003 ways to serve rice that it becomes interestingly appetizing if you're an eater like me, because Pastor, I love to eat. But in the case of my wife, it's the same white rice and tomato sauce all the time. You can try different ways, like the fried rice with chicken and probably coleslaw, or you can do jollof, or even Chinese rice, which obviously she can't do.
What concerns the issue of food to this issue you're having? What?
Baby, just watch and learn. I think you're here to learn, right? Just watch and learn. So, Pastor, let me continue before she rudely interrupted. You can either decide to do the white rice with, the goat meat pepper soup. Not the same bland white rice and tomato sauce every time, even down to the same spices. Pastor, that routine kills expectations now. My love, variety is the spice of life, and so is the spice of making out.
Wait, what are you trying to say? You want to start going out to carry other women? Is that what you're saying?
Pastor, can you hear my wife?
No, then why you?
Can you hear who is talking about going to another woman now? Okay.
They're right.
Pastor, let's try a different analogy, so it won't be like I'm just banking on rice. Pasta, for example, spaghetti. There are very many ways you can serve spaghetti. You can try spaghetti bolognese, or you can try spaghetti alla norma, or spaghetti marinara.
Do you even know how to cut carrots on this food? Yes. Do you know how to cook any of them? Do you know?
Don't interrupt me again. In fact, okay, fine, continue, talk. Since you want to talk, finish it.
Spaghetti marinara.
No,
Do
go
you
ahead.
know how to
Talk.
cook any of them?
If she interrupts me again, I'll stop talking.
Stop now. Everybody will go.
Okay. Sir, look at this way. If you're the one that is being served these different dishes, and when you're coming back, you don't know what to expect. I know you're not supposed to take sides here, but would you want to eat? No, sir, would you want to eat? What are we saying here?
I am not a professional chef. Maybe you need a gourmet chef that will serve you different diets of dishes, morning, afternoon, and night. Neither am I a professional commercial sex worker. You saw all of them, You saw all of them, but you came after me.
You will agree with me. I used to think that my wife is very smart, but right now I just see her as very unbearably naive. Baby, if this thing is important to you, you will learn it. Okay, Pastor, catch this cruise. Do you know that this making out that she's particular about, I am the one that initiates it? No. I am the one that initiates it.
It's a man's job to obey his woman now. It's your job.
My wife. Strikes
Pastor,
again.
if I start initiating it, my husband will start saying I'm loose. That's why I don't want to start, because I know him very well.
Baby, where are you getting all these ridiculous notions from?
Are you not an Igbo man?
Okay, I'm not an Igbo man.
Yes, that is how you people think. Igbo men.
Pastor, can you hear my wife? Can you see? This woman has destroyed my sexuality. In total. Pastor, do you know that I literally have to beg for this? I literally. And when I eventually get her to do it, she turns off. And she likes to go to the mission, even when she's not missionary.
How am I going to the mission? How? I don't understand. Explain to me.
Can you see how naive my wife is? In fact, Pastor, let's just leave this thing. My wife does not enjoy it. Let's leave it. Why are you bringing up something you don't enjoy?
Maybe you need a gymnast. You need a gymnast.
Okay.
Or an acrobat.
Okay.
Making out in Christian marriage should be dignified.
Baby, keep your dignity to yourself. You see, in this marriage, there is no dignity in it. Your work is to pleasure me, your husband.
Okay, guys, we've not gotten there yet. Come on now. Let's keep our cool. Emeka, you say something. You say that your wife doesn't enjoy making out. So how did you arrive at that conclusion?
Pastor, it's obvious. If I when someone is enjoying something, you will know. For example, catch this cruise again. Let's say you are enjoying your favorite, delicacy. Everyone around will hear the smacking of your lips.
No decent person will be making noise with their mouth while eating.
Keep your decency in your father's house.
Do that.
And stop interrupting me, baby. Stop interrupting me, I'm talking.
Okay, no. But this shows you're decent.
Well, I don't
Is that how
blame
you eat outside?
I don't blame you.
Is that how you eat outside?
I don't blame you. Pastor, as I was saying, there's no fire, no flavor, nothing, no feedback, no highlight. Pastor, you will agree with me that when you're walking, you need some encouragement now. With my wife, no pain. The only thing is, what
do you expect me to? Oh, you want me to be screaming, Ewo, Chimo, Emimo? Is that what you're expecting me to do?
Baby, you're just naive. Can you hear my wife, sir? Can you hear my wife? In fact, Pastor, I think my wife is just frigid. Let's leave it.
I am not those tramps you sleep with outside.
What did you just say?
Yes! Neither am I those porn stars that scream like mad people. Amy, pornography has screwed your reality. For Christ's sake, those people are actors and actresses. No decent Christian woman will be screaming the way you want me to.
I've had enough with your decency.
No one! And by the way, everyone must not know we are making out. Everyone must not know. Are we the only ones staying in that house? You want me to be screaming? Eh? Hi!
Pastor, do you see why I'm not moved to touch her? In fact, Pastor, I think I have a better word for it. Making out with my wife is just mechanical. In fact, the word is robotic love. Wow. No feelings. This is what I deal with.
You want us to talk, right?
Talk away. Talk.
You want
You
us
are
to
the one
talk?
that started it now. You brought up the issue.
Let me be honest
Talk.
with you. Let me be honest with you.
Okay.
You can have a Ferrari and not get the best out of it because you don't know how to drive. Yes. You're complaining about not getting feedback. How can you jump into a Ferrari and start firing without starting it? How? It's not done that way.
I see.
My dear husband, if you want to get the best out of a Ferrari, you have to turn on the ignition.
Driving lessons.
Allow it to warm for a while now before revving the engine. Then you shift the gear to the drive shift. And listen, if you don't engage the fourth gear, the turbocharger won't be activated. It won't. Yes, it won't.
My love, when the ignition is faulty, you need to jumpstart the engine. Check your ignition, baby. Check it.
Whose ignition is
yours, of course. Check your ignition.
You don't know what you're talking about. Whose ignition is 40? You don't know what you're talking about. Okay. The challenge here is that you don't even know where the ignition code and security switch is.
Okay.
That is the problem. And you're not bothered to ask.
Oh, young woman.
Yes. You're not bothered to ask. You see, my dear, the problem here is that it's not about what you don't have. The problem here is what you have, but you don't know how to use. You're complaining. You're complaining about not getting any feedback, right? If you don't rev the engine very well, you will not get that sound from a Ferrari. You will not get it. See that you have a Ferrari, but you don't know how to use it. You need driving lessons. You need to learn.
Well, that's nice. Well, perfect speech. But can I ask you, who is this popular Ferrari that we're hearing today?
It's here now. It's here, Roba. Direct.
My love.
It's here.
Do you know what you are? You are a very big lorry without battery. And they need to tow you with another big lorry. And trust me, my love, it is a very stressful and frustrating endeavor. I know, for Pastor, I know. It's very Ferraris.
Now I get where the problem is coming from. Now I get where the problem is coming. How can you drive a Ferrari like you're driving a lorry?
My love, you're a lorry.
It will not work. That is your problem. That is your problem.
Okay.
It will not work.
I see.
You need lessons. You need driving lessons. That is
yeah,
what you need.
It's okay. We've been hearing a lot about Ferraris today, but my love, have you heard about this car, the Porsche Carrera?
Yeah, you've not even finished with the Ferrari. You are going to Porsche Carrera.
But do you know about the Porsche Carrera?
Man said.
Okay, Pastor, let me educate her a little bit. That car has a rear engine mount, and sometimes, my love, you need to drive a car that has a rear engine mount. Fine, agreed. The Ferrari also has the engine at the back. But do you know why the engine is at the back? Do you know? You don't know. She's talking about her, but she doesn't know. Fine, I'll educate your ignorance. The reason is because it gives a lot of power and traction to the back wheels and gives a hell of a rush to the driver. And my love, Ferraris are fast cars. You're very slow. You get my drift, right? Ferraris. Don't worry, I will buy you Ferrari one day if you get your head down.
Whether the engine is at the front or the back, it makes no difference. What I'm saying is that you don't know how to drive this Ferrari.
This Ferrari. This is a lorry, my love. This is a lorry.
Easy, guys.
This is a lorry.
Easy, guys.
Okay.
See who is calling someone a lorry? What are you? Bag of cement? You're not even in the category of
My
cars.
love, you're a lorry. There is no battery in this lorry.
You're not even
There
in the
is
category
no battery
of
in
cars.
this lorry, my love.
You're
Alright,
a bag
guys.
of
Guys.
You need to send you back and rewire you.
Okay, guys, calm down, right? I've heard enough about cars. You know, I'm just a pastor and I don't know much about cars. Ferrari, Porsche Carrera, rear mount, gear lever, revving. I'm confused. Please, Angie, please, can you explain to me what you really mean? Please, let me understand you clearly.
Pastor, in plain language, my husband here is selfish and boring in bed.
Oh, you're not using my own vocabulary against me.
He just
You can't find your
wants to
own.
Start firing.
Okay.
Without playing. You know now, Pastor. Without even touching. That is him. He just wants to go direct.
Okay.
He jumps on me and expects me to be ready and on fire. Like I'm a microwave oven. And now, I am not wired like that.
You need rewiring. You
Pastor,
need
I am not
rewiring.
an ever-ready battery. I am not a toy, honey. I am not. For me, Pastor, making out is the main course. There must be a first and second before the main course now. But for this man, that is the only thing on the menu. Making out, it's a la carte for me. That's the way I see it. For my husband, it's fast food though. Ever ready. Take away. That is him.
Pastor, is it a problem that I love spontaneity in lovemaking? No, is it a problem? Okay, fine. I love spontaneity when it comes to making out. What rubbish is first course, second course? Is this a university?
You said you like what? Hey.
What's that rubbish? What's first course and second course? What's that? You see that we are going to get a certificate after we are done? For God's sakes, Pastor, let her give me my food when I'm hungry. Give me my food. Feed me. Give me my pounded yam and my slimy okra soup with the meats inside it. The meats I can be chewing while I'm swallowing my pounded yam and my slimy okra soup. And then some water to wash it down, obviously. Then some palm wine for the fellowship after the fellowship. What's all this now? A la carte is not our culture, my love. It's not. Pastor, I am a lion.
Cultural man. Why don't you walk around naked?
Baby,
Do your
respect
ancestors
yourself.
this? Why don't you walk around naked? Do your
Respect
ancestors
yourself.
this? Why? every time we have issues like this, he comes up with cultural stuff to just cover it up. That is it. That's how he behaves. Lion indeed. Lions hunt for their food. That is what they do.
The problem with you is that you're still living in a bubble. Get out of this your bubble, for God's sakes. You expect me, after going, do you know how hard it is to hustle out there?
You're not the only man that hustle. A lot of men out there, they are doing the same thing you're doing, even more than you do.
Because you're obviously not hustling. You're just sitting in the house and looking pretty. And my money.
Don't bring up that issue. You were the one that told me not to work. You were the one.
Fine, I think I regret that decision right now.
I'm a very smart and intelligent lady. And you know that.
With all this nonsense you're vomiting, you're smart and intelligent. I think we need to swap positions. You need to go out and hustle.
I will make double of what you
will make double of what?
I will take care of
you will crack at the first instance, so you expect me to come back and start pursuing you about.
Okay guys, I've heard you guys. But by the way, Angie, do you mean that you don't work because your husband insisted that you mustn't work?
Yes! I'm a graduate from Christ. He refused me.
There are a lot of jobless graduates.
I am not like that.
There are a lot of jobless graduates out there.
Opportunities out
there are a lot of... Don't bring that graduate part here. There are a lot of jobless people out there.
Okay, guys.
You think it's because you're enjoying my money and you're fine?
If you don't know, I'm a spec.
Okay.
It's okay, guys.
You know, if I get out there, you know how they rush me. Even now I'm married, they're still after me.
I've listened to you guys attentively, and I've come to realize that the problem here is lack of understanding. You know, first of all, let me say this from the top. First of all, you must understand that men are wired differently. When it comes to making out, men are like microwave ovens. A man can switch from watching a full moon match to wanting to make out immediately. Yeah? Like what you said. That you like to eat when you're hungry, like that. They should serve you your pounded yam and your okra soup. You're a lion. But the point here is that a woman is also wired differently. A woman is like a slow cooking stove. They take their time to burn. You say you're a lion, she's a lamb. Lambs like to play. Lambs like to play. Understand? So the point here is that you must come to understand that the two of you are wired differently. And for you to be able to enjoy a fulfilling marriage when it comes to also making out, you must understand each other. But there's something the Bible says here, so let me use it to lay a foundation. Alright? Let me use it to lay a foundation. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and from verse 2. Let us read. And I want to read from the Message Bible translation of the Bible. It says, it is good for a man to have a wife, and for a woman to have a husband. Yeah? It says, sexual drives are strong, like the lion. Otakago, right? Like the lion. Sexual drives are strong. But it also surprises you that a woman also has a very strong sexual drive. Sexual drives, it says, they are what? Strong. But marriage is strong enough to contain these drives. So no matter how sexually strong your desires are, your marriage is able to contain it. You can find fulfillment in your marriage. Yes, strong sexual drive. You mustn't look for ways outside of your marriage to fulfill those drives. Your marriage is enough to fulfill them. But the Bible goes ahead to say that the marriage is strong enough to provide a balanced and fulfilling sexual life. So you can actually enjoy a balanced and fulfilling sexual life in marriage. She said something about being dignified as a Christian wife, but we're going to address it as we go forward. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. The marriage bed must be a place of mutuality. A place of mutuality. A place of mutuality. Simply put, it must be a place of agreement. Agreement. And it says that the husband seeks to satisfy his wife. The husband seeks to satisfy his wife, which means the primary motivation for a godly husband is to seek for ways to satisfy his wife. And also says vice versa. And the wife must also seek for ways to satisfy her husband. So, Emeka, anytime you think about making out with your wife, the first thing that should come into your head is, I need to satisfy my woman. I need to satisfy my woman. And vice versa. Your job, the Bible says here, the wife also seeking to satisfy her husband. Are you here? So which means the primary purpose of making out in marriage is to satisfy each other. So you cannot satisfy your husband unless you find out from him what he really loves. And vice versa, you can't satisfy your wife unless you find out from her what she really loves and what works for her. You call her a lorry, a slow moving lorry. She says she's a Ferrari. You complain you don't hear or you don't get highlights and ringtones from her, feedback. And she says, how can you get feedback if you don't rev the engine? So the two of you are saying the same thing. She's saying, you don't know me. You don't even know what you're doing. You don't even know what to touch and how to touch. And you also complain that you're not getting feedback because you expect her to be the way you want her to be. So the Bible continues by saying also that marriage is not a place to stand up for your rights. It says marriage is a decision to serve the other, whether in bed or out of bed. Marriage is a decision to serve each other, whether in bed or out of bed. Now let's talk about service. You spoke a lot about food. Now when you go to a restaurant, you place your order, right? The waiter doesn't give you what he or she thinks you need. You place an order, right? You tell them what you want. So you cannot serve someone effectively unless you find out from the person what the person actually needs. All right? So oftentimes people give people what they think they need. So your wife gives you what she thinks you need and you give her what you think she needs. But you guys have never sat down to discuss these issues. What do you actually need? What trips you? What excites you? The moment, you understand? Yes, sometimes there must be room for spontaneity, right? I understand that. But basically, you must sit down and ask yourself and find out from yourselves what works. As you said, the ignition code. As you said, the security lock. As you said, some gear levers and some shiftings. But also, what she also asked for is also what you also need also. But you guys are not having it because you have not sat down to discuss the issue. All right? She says she's a Lamborghini. Is it Lamborghini again? Ferrari. And you call her a lorry. So, but it's obvious you love a Porsche Carrera.
I do.
All right. So she wants to be a Ferrari. Yeah. But do you know you can have a Ferrari Porsche? Hallelujah. Praise God. If the two of you sit down and talk like lovers. Sweetheart, what trips you? Sweetheart, show me where your buttons are. Understand? And as she said, throughout the day you don't call her, no love notes. Then at night you want to jump at her. And you say that because you're a busy man. You have to understand, Emeka, that for women, making out is not the act itself. Making out is the end of the process. End of the process. Start with saying the right things, non-sexual touches from here and there, making her feel comfortable. You understand? And you get her ready, and once she's ready, believe me, you will hear the roar of a Ferrari. And this one she's talking about, most people hear. She's so conscious about people hearing because she has not been activated. Once she's activated, she won't even know that she's roaring. So I pray to God Almighty that you got what I just said, all right, and that you sit back and understand basically that in marriage, making out is serving each other. And what you said something about dignity. In marriage, dignity is what the two of you have agreed. Yes, you know, you can do anything you like as long as it doesn't make any of you feel less than a human. Understand? Do you get what I mean? There are some things you want to do, but if your wife is not comfortable with it, or he's not comfortable with it, you have to let it go. All right? Okay. So in this case, dignity simply refers to doing things within the confines or the purview from reality as Christians, and also reasonability. But believe me that if you sit down with your wife, you sit down with your husband and discuss and learn from each other, you will have better times ahead. And it is not good to keep away from each other for too long. The Bible says that you shouldn't do that, because if you do that, the enemy is very wicked and will find a way to come in and scatter your home. Are we clear? Yes. Are we clear? Alright. So with the lion, she's the lamb. The lion must learn how to play with the lamb. Yeah? So the lamb must also learn how to run with the lion. Alright. Thank you. I think we should pray now, right? Yes. So let us pray.
Pastor, there's still some other things we need to settle to.
What things?
Yes, some other points we need to.
Okay. Do you know what? Let's have another session next week here, because I have a flight to catch right now. Okay. But in the interim, you guys go back home and do what just discussed. All right. So by the time I come next week, you give me a report. Understand? Let me hear from you as to what you guys did with what you heard today. Is it okay? Yes. So let us pray now. Father, in the name of Jesus,
We're here to make a change.